It's working. Sorry for a small hiccup at the beginning. So hello, everyone. It's very nice to see you all again. I'm Piotr Bajraszewski, Director of Finance and Business Development. And with me there, we have Przemek Marszał, our CEO. And I would like to make a short summary of our strategy that we shared recently. So what we do is we create unique and easily understandable games with a message and strong gameplay that wide groups of players will love to play. Games that are and will be market relevant, the games that are and will become hits. And this is 11 Bit Studios. Q1 was a pretty calm quarter for us, with the console release of Death Howl being the biggest event. It was a quarter of intense development of the two big upcoming DLCs that will be released this year. Also, we are preparing to announcement of Crop that we announced at the beginning of April with very good results. Now moving on to financial results and to operational summary. In last quarter, we generated nearly 20 million PLN of revenue, 13% more than last year. Depreciation and amortization was high in first quarter, mainly due to the depreciation of Frostpunk 2, DLC of Frostpunk 2, Alters, and Death Howl. We had 8.6 million PLN of external services cost, out of which 3.6 were royalties. We had also staff cost of 4 million PLN, so the operating loss was 5.5 million PLN. Still, EBITDA was 5.9 million PLN, significantly higher than first quarter last year, and net loss of 2.8 million PLN, also significantly less than last year. So the revenue, the biggest revenue in first quarter was generated by the new title from the external development team, so Death Howl. That is a very good result for us, very huge success, which was generated in a big part by Game Pass deal. Frostpunk 2 and the Alters had weaker quarter. However, we believe in those titles in the future and their future performance, especially since we have the upcoming DLCs. As we declared at the end of last quarter, we want to share the dev team sizes at the end of each quarter. And at the moment, we have two strong teams working on new content for the Alters and Frostpunk 2. And already 27 people working on Frostpunk 1886, and stable increase of the team sizes of P12, P13, and first time P14. Regarding the internal development, we have two upcoming DLCs coming to Frostpunk 2. One of them is already announced to June. And also we have advanced works on Frostpunk 1886. We just had an event where, amongst other things, we presented a little bit more about the Frostpunk 1886. We presented also the first screenshot of the Frostpunk 86, like first in-game target quality screenshot that was very well received. We are also working on P13, which is a new game in new genre in the Frostpunk universe that we announced recently. Regarding Alters, we have first paid DLC coming in the upcoming months. External development, we launched Death Howl. As I already mentioned, that had a very good financial results in the previous quarter. Very good reception of 94% of positive reviews. And also due to the Game Pass, that this is the project that already broke even. We are also aiming toward the early access of Moonlighter 2, with full release planned at the end of not at the end, but in the second half of this year. As I mentioned already, Crop that was announced with a very strong performance, phenomenal performance, actually the best we ever had regarding the number of wishlists accumulated in such a short period since announcement. Sorry,
guys.
And we have signed a new project. However, on that, details to be confirmed. As you know, we do not share information about the project when we sign them, but when we announce them. So prospects for 2026. We are investing in the next wave. We made an extensive presentation regarding that last month. So just a short summary that the DLC Bridge of Trust coming out for Frostpunk 2 coming in June 2026, which was already play tested and have a very good reception because it's wrapping around the core narrative of the game, and it's adding a feature that players enjoy. And also the third DLC for Frostpunk 2 planned somewhere at the end of this year. The Alters DLC, expanding story and gameplay setting systems, also very big DLC, which will be released at the end of the second quarter or beginning of the third quarter, still to be decided. We have unannounced projects, so key internal projects that are moving forward from pre-production to full production. Regarding the external development, Moonlighter 2 new full release with new platforms, which is very crucial, as we already highlighted. The switch for Moonlighter 2 is very, very important. And of course, constantly we are scouting and evaluating potential games for publishing. So how it looks on a timeline. In 2026, we have Moonlighter 2, once again, Frostpunk 2 DLCs, Alter DLCs. Then in 2027 and 8, we have Crop and unannounced XDev projects and Frostpunk 886. Then to 2028-29, P13 in Frostpunk universe, P15, so the reimagination of This War of Mine, and then 2029 to 2030, Project P12, so new IP based on new P13 from new IP, which will be a new IP. Thank you very much. That's all. And let's move to Q&A. Stop sharing the presentation. First of all, feel free to ask questions in the comments. We have some questions that we received prior to the presentation, so we'll go through them as well. But I can start with the question that we got from Grzegorz Balcerski in the comments. What was the share of Game Pass payment in dev wholesales in the quarter? Sadly, we're starting with a question that I cannot answer right away, because in general, with Game Pass, due to the agreement limitations, we can never share exact amounts that we are getting from Microsoft. So sadly, I cannot answer that question. Okay, so moving to the question that we received prior to the presentation, there was a question regarding the revenue, because we showed the four games that earned the most in the first quarter, but there was a pretty big other. So someone asked about the revenue coming from Thaumaturge and This War of Mine in the first quarter, and the answer for that, so how big was the revenue coming from the Thaumaturge in first quarter, was around 700,000 zlotys PLN. And how big was the revenue of This War of Mine in the first quarter? it was around 1.2 million PLN. Also, there was a question regarding the last year still. So the fourth quarter and the revenue coming from Thaumaturge in fourth quarter of the last year, it was again around 800,000 PLN. And the new thing that we okay. So now I'll move also to the questions that we have from the audience, because the live questions. When can we expect to reach the break-even point for the production of the game The Alters? As we do not share the revenue predictions, I cannot pin the exact date. However, we haven't met it. We don't have break even yet, but we see and think it will happen at some point. Sorry for the evasive question, because yeah, for sure the launch of the DLC and the big bid that's coming with it will be an important factor here. Sorry, I'm reading the next question from Niewieczny. Hypothetically, would 11-bit Studios as a major shareholder benefit from Fool's Fury's success in the market with their ongoing projects, even though there is no ongoing mutual project between 11-bit and Fool's Fury? Yes, I mean, we have 40% of shares in Fool's Fury, which, if you are following our reports in the last year and first quarter, gave us we had a loss resulted from owning those shares. But if the results of the Fool's Fury would be positive, it will also be calculated in our results. Are there any plans to expand on bundle sales in between bigger promo actions on Steam? 11-bit already have reasonable portfolio to compose interesting bundles, minus 40-60% discount with their own games, especially the older ones. At the moment, there are only 10-15% bundle with low efficiency between Steam sales. Okay, that's a more complicated question, but in general, we do a lot of we do a lot of bundles. We do a lot of promos outside of Steam, inside of Steam. Historically, we were one of the first to do the big bundle, as you mentioned, the 50-60% discount of our portfolio for our portfolio. That was a huge success back in the day, where we sold more than 1 million SKUs in a week. So of course we know that mechanic and we use it when it's we think it is profitable. The problem, very technical answer, but the problem is that now you cannot get the visibility for the bundles itself. But of course we are testing that constantly and decreasing discounts and checking all of that. So yeah, that's the part of our ongoing business strategy and something that we are doing actively. Along with other humble bundles and other deals that we are doing. Have you already in Q1 recognized all the payment for Death Hole in Game Pass? Yes, almost everything. When P15, but yeah, almost everything. When P15 TWOM remake production will start, isn't the target for 2028 too ambitious, considering no developers working on the title right now? I'm not sure if you want to answer that, Przemek. I can answer that. We shared that this team will start working at the beginning of third quarter.
Sorry, Piotr.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking about something like.
Yeah. No worries. We are getting questions from all over the.
You mean which questions? Sorry.
When the production of the TWOM remake will start, but we shared that it will be the beginning of the third quarter.
Yeah. And it's going to that direction, guys. As we shared like a month ago, it's like we started the design process. We are working on the project, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We are looking for some people, but the core team that will start is already prepared for that. So, like as you know, we are waiting for the DLCs to end. Like we are working on DLC for Frostpunk 2, of course, and for the others, and those are huge teams that are working there. So that needs to happen. Then we can start working on the P15.
Yes, and also I would like to mention that it's not 2028, it's 2028/2029, which is actually a significant difference. What was the volume of Frostpunk 2 sold in Q1? What was the volume of the Alter sold in Q1? That's not something that I can share right away. In the next reports of the half-year report, we'll share the specific data regarding the volumes of copies sold. We'll think about splitting it into quarters to be more clear regarding the sales. However, as I said, it was a calm quarter, so majority of the revenue that we generated with those titles came from the revenue of copies sold. Long story short, you can make calculations based on the revenue. Were you already approached by any third party with a question whether you will be interested in selling your stake in Fool's Theory? That's something that we are not commenting on. What's the reason of loss from Fools? Aren't they operating in work for hire regime? Shouldn't they generate some margin on their work? That's also a longer and complicated question because it's between Fool's Theory and their
I think
and the agreement they have.
Yeah, I think what you need to understand is that's the independent company,
Yeah.
like with the independent management board for the whole company. Of course, we are in talks, and there are a lot of discussions as always. But they have the plan, they have the idea where to grow the company. When we'll be ready, for example, to talk with you guys and share a bit more on what's the direction for Fools, then it's interesting for me that for today it's so interesting topic. I think next time we can, like for next Q, we can prepare a section for the Fool's Theory and like agree with guys like we will share this, and you will guys get that information. So like count on it that we will do it then. But like as for now, like as I said, it's independent company. We know of course where we are going. We have the stakes in them. Like we believe in the Fool's Theory. They're like working with CDP right now, but the work is really good from what we heard. And so yeah, so so next time we'll be ready to share you more. The next question: are the plans to acquire stakes in the other studios in the near future? So I think we shared that like a year ago, like already a year ago. Like that's not the time we are looking for another studios right now. Like we have a lot of projects. You see that. So the money is needed for what we plan to do. And as for now, that's not something we want to like grow or expand. There are different areas we want to expand. So it's not a topic where we are actively looking for it. Like there are always talks about like when companies come with projects, when we sign deals, there is always an open discussion around that. But it's not as an element that we are currently pursuing. As you saw, I would like to highlight that Piotr already told you that like we signed another project for the publishing department for XDev. So I'm really happy about that. And what you probably also might have seen in the presentation, what Piotr said, is like for the next year, this means we will have multiple XDev launches. So you already saw that, and like when we will be ready, we'll share you more information about that. But like we are happy about like there is the ongoing process there, and Exdev is doing the next project, etc., etc. We are constantly seeing new stuff.
Yeah. Another curveball question from Piotr. Thank you very much for that. But I already see that you even put the smiley face at the end. So you know that the answer, because the question is, which universe can we expect to see during Summer Game Fest? Frostpunk Alter, This War of Mine, or a new one? I had to ask, sure. And you know that I have to answer that we cannot share that. As I explained recently, we have to be vague sometimes regarding what we are doing next regarding our marketing bits, because we cannot, it's important for us not to burn what exactly we are planning next, because it can hurt our marketing strategy and actual visibility that such a bit will have. So sadly, I cannot say anything more here. The same as Łukasz recently couldn't say any more in his statement. Sorry, because I'm mógłbyś proszę pytanie. Sorry, because we have also those questions that we got from before and I want to see what. Okay, I see that some of those questions are the same that you posted here. There was a question about volumes of sales of Frostpunk 2 and the Alters. That's something that I said that will be shared for a half year, not a quarter, because it's much more extensive report. Then the next question is, how is the progress of work on the DLCs? I guess for Frostpunk 2 and the Alters, it's going very well. Both of them were already tested, play tested publicly, and internally at the studio, and the reception is very good so far.
I think we can say we don't expect any delays with what is currently planned, what you saw with the timeline that Piotr shared. So we don't see any problems with any delays with those projects, with those DLCs.
And we do not, and we feel pretty safe with the technical state of the Frostpunk 2 second DLC, which was the issue with the first DLC. The next question is, sorry, it's in Polish. Let me translate it. At what level the DLC will help with the organic sales of the titles? How we want to make it happen? So basically, the DLCs always improve the sales of the base game. We plan to reach out to streamers. We plan to have the marketing campaign wrapped up around those DLCs with a good reception. It's always a high additional boost of the sales of the main game, and also people coming back to the game. So that's one thing. And also long term, very long term, for years, the DLCs are increasing the average revenue per user that we get from those games, which is very important because, as you know, for example, from This War of Mine, we are selling our games for years. What was the percentage of revenue of sorry, trying to translate the question at the same time. What was in first quarter? What was the revenue share split between the external and internal titles? And it was around 50% each, 54, something like that. The Death Hole and Moonlighter 2 was mainly the biggest chunk of the publishing revenue coming from the publishing. That was okay. All the questions. We have still a moment, so let's see what were the questions asked here. Sorry, I will start at the bottom because I start reading the questions up. How are the guys at Carbonara? Aren't they overwhelmed with such a positive feedback they have received after the crop reveal trailer? Does anything change in their development pipeline after the reveal trailer? Not exactly. I mean, they are good, they are happy, they are excited, but they are not rookies. So they just moving forward with the game. We believed in the game. The Rufus of the ex-dev director believed in the game from start and believed that it has a very high potential regarding the market appeal. And the only thing it proved that he was right. So it was not a shock for us, but just
but like with showing those screens, we already, and those materials, the videos, we already can see what people react to, how they imagine the game. Like, that's a cool discussion we now can have with Carbonara guys. So of course they are very positive, etc. But now we can can discuss and what fantasies we shared, how the people see that. And that's a really important moment, as always for any project. It is like to have that conversation and the imagination of players, what this game will be. So we already have some comments on that, some thoughts around that. We are currently discussing with the team, etc., etc.
The question from Nieugwieczny, will there be military army aspects introduced in the upcoming Frostpunk 2 DLC? As per the recent screenshot drops on YouTube and X. Okay, that's kind of loaded question because all we share on YouTube and X is of course the material from the game. So if you saw that on those screenshots, it's true and it will happen. However, do not expect to because military army aspects. Yeah, military and army aspects are in the game, but there won't be world of automatons happening and some big military battles, anything like that. So yes, there will be some aspects, but exactly per the recent screenshots that we shared. Considering plans of P12, P15 development, what scale of capex increase we should expect in 2026 and 2027 versus current PLN at 10 million quarterly level? In general, we don't foresee any significant changes in our monthly spendings. It's more of a matter of allocation between projects. But as we plan to make all the games internally, we do not foresee any huge increases in capex. Have you already recouped the production cost of the altars? No, not yet. Had to ask. I think that's it. Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's it. We'll be probably ending.
Yeah.
As you guys, I think so in the results, it's like just the next month after the yearly conference, and everything is going as planned. Piotr showed you the numbers, showed you the updates on the project. So we are happy with where the games are progressing, where DLCs are progressing, the XDev signings, etc., etc., etc. So it's us, like, it's just a month passed away, but we are happy about what we did during that month, and I think that's the key info you should know right now.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. Thanks, Piotrek. And see you next time. If you have any questions, just drop an email to Monica, to our IR, and we'll gladly answer you or meet you guys. So till the next time. Bye.